The stars looked the same, but Kale felt different. He sat on the cold floor of his bunk. Deep in Mining Station 47B, far from Earth. Around him, machines hummed. The walls were metal. The air was dry. The station was always busy, always noisy. But inside Kale, it felt quiet, too quiet. He missed her. Mira Elin was not his mother, but she had raised him like a son. On Earth, before he was taken away, she taught him stories. Stories about freedom, about Earth's green forests and blue oceans, about human music and art and love. But Earth was gone, not least for him. The Galactic Concord had taken him. When he was 13, he'd been chosen for his high IQ. They said he would be useful. They said Earth had agreed to help the galaxy by sharing its people. But it was a lie. Everyone knew it. Humans were slaves. Now Kale was 20. He worked 16-hour shifts, checking mining systems, fixing cables, solving tech errors. He was good at it. Too good. His alien overseers called him efficient, but no one ever said, "How are you?" Or "Do you miss home?" They didn't care. Every night, Kale returned to his small bunk and stared at an old photo. It was worn and faded, printed from old Earth tech. In it, Mira stood in a garden, smiling with a flower in her hand. Behind her was the sky blue, open. Full of clouds, Kale hadn't seen real sky in years. He touched the photo and whispered, "Do you still remember me, Mira?" He didn't know where she was now. Maybe on another station. Maybe on a faraway moon. Maybe gone. Concord didn't. Let humans stay together. They split them apart, to control them, to make them feel alone. And it worked. Kale felt lonely every day. He had friends, kind people who worked in silence beside him. But no one knew him the way Mira did. She always believed in him. To say, "Kale, your mind is a spark. One day, you'll light something no one can put out." He missed her voice. He wanted to talk to her again, to tell her he was scared, that he felt weak, that sometimes he forgot what real wind felt like. But there were no letters, no messages. No way to know if she was even alive. One night, he sat alone in the supply closet. It was the only place the cameras didn't watch. He opened a hidden panel behind the wall, something he had built himself over months. Inside was a tiny device, a signal receiver, illegal, dangerous. But his only hope, he had been building it secretly, piece by piece from spare parts. It wasn't ready yet. It still needed more code, more power, more time. But maybe, just maybe, he could send out a message. A whisper in the dark. "Please," he said, "plugging in the wires, just work once. Let someone hear me." He entered. The code. The screen blinked. It wasn't strong enough to reach Earth, but maybe it could reach another station. Maybe someone out there had done the same thing. Maybe Mira. He typed, "This is Kale, Station 47B human. Looking for Mira, Elin. Are you out there?" He sent it, then waited. Nothing. He waited another hour, then another. Still nothing. Kale closed his eyes and leaned back. He felt like crying, but he didn't, not yet. 'Cause even in this silence, something inside him stayed alive. Hope the Concord could take his planet, his people, his freedom, but they couldn't take what made him human. His memories, his love, his dream of connection, that spark inside him. He thought of Mira's words again. One day, you'll light something no one can put out. He would keep trying. He would finish the signal. He would send messages every night. He would never stop. Because maybe, just maybe, she was out there doing the same. And if she was, then Kale wasn't alone. Kale sat at his control station, his fingers moving across the old screen. Around him, the mining station shook with quiet rumblings from the drills deep below. The same sounds, the same lights, the same tasks, every day felt the same. But inside him, something had changed. It had been 2 weeks since he sent the secret message. "This is Kale, Station 47B. Human. Looking for Mira Elin. Are you out there?" He never got a reply. Every night he checked the small receiver he hid behind a wall panel. Nothing. No signal. No answer. Only silence. He felt sad. Not the kind of sadness that comes from a single moment, but the slow kind. The kind that grows when you feel forgotten. He didn't know if Mira was alive. He didn't know if anyone heard him at all. But he couldn't stop. Something inside told him to keep going. One morning, while checking cables in the power tunnel, Cale found something strange. A tiny metal box had fallen behind the power core. It looked old, very old, covered in dust, not from the Concorde. It had Earth markings. He opened it carefully. Inside was a memory chip. His heart jumped. He looked around to make sure no one was watching. Then he slipped the chip into his tool pouch and rushed to the storage room during his break. His hands shook as he connected the chip to his hidden device. The screen flickered, then blinked to life. Earth Archive Cultural Memory Pack Unlocked. Music filled the small room. Not loud, it's not fast. Just soft piano, notes slow and warm. Cale stared at the screen. Images appeared. Green trees, running rivers, laughing children, painted skies. He had never seen Earth like this. Not in motion, not in color, not alive. His eyes watered. Then came the voice, a calm, older woman, reading something. When they try to erase you, remember this. You are more than your chains. You are your voice. You are your story. You are not forgotten. Cale closed his eyes and let the sound wash over him. For the first time in years, he felt like he was home. That night, he added the archive to the signal he sent out. He sent it to every direction, hoping someone, somewhere, would hear. He didn't say his name this time, didn't ask for it. Reply, he just shared the sound of Earth. Across the galaxy, other humans were working in silence. Some were cooks, some were cleaners, some fixed ships. Others served in alien cities. But when the message came through hidden receivers, through old Earth devices they had saved in secret, something happened. They paused, they listened, and they remembered. One was a woman named Isha, working as a medic on Station A9. She was fixing a broken scanner when the piano music began to play in her earpiece. She froze, then she smiled, then she cried. Another was a boy named Elian, only 16, sweeping a starport hangar. He had never seen Earth, but he felt it in the music, in the voice, in the story. One by one, humans all across the galaxy felt a light spark inside. Cale didn't know it yet, but his signal had reached far. It was the first true message from Earth in years. It's not words of war, not codes or commands, but a feeling. And that feeling was waking something in people who had been quiet too long. Later that week, while Cale worked in the data core, a small blinking light caught his eye. His receiver. He ran to the storage room and opened the panel. There it was, a message. He clicked it open. I don't know who you are, but thank you. I'm human. I'm on Station C19. Your message reminded me that I'm not alone. I'll send this to others. We'll keep it going. Keep hope alive. Cale stared at the screen, breathing hard. He couldn't believe it. Someone heard him. Not Myra, but someone. And that was enough. He replied, Thank you. Keep it going. We are Earth. We are not broken. In the days that followed, more messages came. Small, simple words. Notes of memory. Songs. Prayers. A drawing. Of Earth made by a child. Cale saved them all. He didn't know how to find Mira yet. He still missed her deeply. But now, the silence was gone. There were voices in the dark. A family made of stars. And as he looked out the small window into the endless black sky, he whispered, We are coming back. One voice at a time. Because that's what it meant to be human. To remember. To reach. To hope. Cale walked through the long hallway of Mining Station 47B, holding a small metal tablet in his hand. His boots echoed softly as he moved. Around him, other humans worked quietly, cleaning, repairing, carrying heavy crates. No one spoke. Cameras were always watching, but Cale's mind was somewhere. Else it had been a month since he first sent out the music from Earth. Since then, many replies had come in short messages from humans on different stations, on faraway moons even. From inside Concorde ships, the messages weren't loud. They weren't angry, but they were full of feeling. And they all said the same thing. We remember. Still no message from Myra. Cale missed her deeply. She had always known what to do. He felt like a puzzle missing. A piece. Her words, her wisdom, her quiet smile, they were the light in his memories. But now that light felt far away. He sat at the lunch table, tending to eat, while his mind drifted to her. Would she be proud of me? Later that night, Cale sat in the storage room again. He opened the small panel and checked. The signal logs. A new message had arrived. He opened it quickly. Myra Elin reported alive on Station D6. Teaching children. Silent worker. Possible contact soon. Stay hidden. Cale's heart jumped. It wasn't from Myra, but someone had seen her. She was alive. He smiled for the first time in days, but also, he felt more lost. He wanted to talk to her, to hear her voice, to say thank you. But Station D6 was far away. There was no way to send messages directly there. Concorde rules were strict. All communication between humans was banned unless monitored. He sat quietly, staring at the message. Alive, he whispered. She's really alive. His hands trembled. The next few days, Cale felt different, lighter, hopeful. He started talking quietly with a few trusted humans on the station. A cleaner named Sella, a cook named Tam, a young tech assistant named Jory. He didn't tell them everything, but he told them enough. I've sent a message, he said softly one evening. It's traveling between humans, from place to place. They're sharing stories, memories. Sella looked surprised. I thought we were alone. We're not, Cale said. Not anymore. They met in secret. Only 4 minutes. Just enough to share a few lines of old Earth songs. A memory of sunlight. A recipe for real bread. It was small, but it mattered. One night, Jory handed Cale a folded piece of plastic sheet. On it, drawn with old ink, was a picture of Earth. Big. In blue, with green land and white clouds. My little sister made it, Jory said. Back on Station Zeta, before they took us to different places. Cale looked at the drawing, then gently placed it in his coat. Thank you, he said. The small group began calling themselves the Whisper. Not an army, not a protest, just people with hearts still beating for home. They didn't fight. They didn't shout. They whispered stories of Earth. They taught songs to children during work breaks. They helped each other smile again, and slowly, their humans on the station started to notice. One day, Sella left a folded napkin on a table in the kitchen. Inside it was a note. Earth remembers you. You are not alone. But the next day, 10. Copies of that note had appeared around the station, but still, Cale felt a space inside his heart, part missing. He needed to talk to Mira, to hear her say something, anything that night. He sat at his receiver and sent a short message. Mira, if you hear this, it's Cale. I don't know what to say. I'm not strong like you, but I'm trying. We're trying. Please be safe. He didn't expect a reply, but he had to try, because that's what humans did, even in silence, even in fear. They reached for each other. The next morning, he woke to blinking lights on the device. A message. He opened it fast. To Cale, from someone who remembers your voice. Keep going. The stars are listening. There was no name, but Cale knew. It was her, his eyes filled with tears. She was still there. Still watching, still believing. Cale looked at the others in the hallway later that day. So many heads down, so many hearts tired. But now, maybe something had changed. He stood taller. He smiled more. He carried not just sadness, but purpose. He didn't know how the story would end. He didn't know when Earth would rise again. But for the first time in years, he truly believed. They were not broken. They were building something. One whisper at a time. The stars outside Station 47B were quiet, but inside Cale's heart, something had started to grow. Hope. It had been a few days since Cale received the mysterious message. The words were simple, To Kale, from someone who remembers your voice. Keep going. The stars are listening. There was no name, but Kale felt it deep inside. It had to be Mira. Only she knew how to speak like that. Only she made him feel seen, even through a few lines on a screen. But now, the silence had returned. He waited every night for more. But nothing came. He didn't know if she was blocked, watched, hurt, or maybe the message was a one-time chance. He felt distant again, like reaching for someone behind a wall of glass. Still, he couldn't give up. Because even if Mira didn't reply again, she had told him to keep going. That meant something. Every day, Kale worked hard in the mining station. He fixed machines, sorted cables, and updated power logs. To the alien guards, he was quiet and obedient. But secretly, he was building something more powerful than any machine. He was building connection. The whisper had grown. It was no longer just Sela, Tam, and Jory. Other humans had joined quietly. People from the lower decks, mechanics, kitchen workers, even a Concord translator who had once lived on Earth before the war. They didn't plan big things, no explosions, no escape. Instead, they shared. Every shift. Someone told a memory from Earth's story about summer rain, a game they played as kids, a meal cooked with love. Every story made others remember. Every memory made them feel human again. One day, Sela brought an old Earth poem printed on scrap. She read it aloud in the back room, her voice shaking. Though skies be dark and stars be far, our hearts still shine like morning star. No chain can break the soul inside, for hope, not fear, is where we hide. Everyone clapped softly. No one said much, but their eyes were full of light. That night, Kale stared at the stars through a small round window. He thought of Mira again. He thought of her garden back on Earth, the one she said she planted with her own hands. He could almost smell the flowers. "I miss you," he whispered. "I don't know how to find you, but I hope you know. I'm trying." He didn't cry, but something in his chest felt heavy the next day. While fixing a power box, Kale heard something strange on the security line. A quiet sound, like static. Then, for a second, a voice. ... Earth. Rising. Still breathing. He froze. He quickly disconnected the line before the guards noticed. That wasn't from the Concorde. That was a human signal. Someone nearby, maybe even from another station, was sending out a message. Kale rushed to the storage room after his shift and turned on his receiver. He scanned the nearby channels. For hours, nothing happened. Just empty sound. Then, another voice. "To all humans listening, hope lives. We are building something together." It was another whisper group. He sent a reply. "This is Kale, Station 47B. We hear you. Earth remembers."
At night.
The message spread across dozens of stations. Humans sent back songs, poems, math formulas, even a recipe for chocolate cake. It was strange and beautiful. They were far apart. But it felt like a family. Still, Kale hadn't heard from Mira again. Each message brought him joy. But a piece of his heart stayed quiet. He missed her. He wanted to tell her everything. Not to hear her laugh again. He thought about sending another message just for her. But what if she couldn't receive it? What if the first one was a miracle and now she was gone? The thought made him feel small. But then he remembered her favorite saying. Even a small candle can light a dark sky. So he did something simple. He wrote a message. Just a few words, and he added it to every signal they sent across the stars. "Mira, if you hear this, I'm still here, still listening, still believing. Love, Kale." He didn't expect a reply. And none came. Not for many days, but something better happened. Others started adding names too. "To my brother Ezra, I miss you. For Mom, if you're alive, I still remember the songs you sang. To my best friend Mina, let's meet on Earth again someday." Soon, the messages became a wall of love, a digital sky full of human hearts reaching through the dark. Kale stood one morning in the machine bay holding his tool, looked up and smiled, even though the ceiling was just metal. Because somewhere out there, Mira might be reading his words. And even if they were far apart, even if they couldn't touch or talk, they were still connected by hope, by love, by the human spirit that never gave up. Cale woke up early. The station lights had not turned on yet, but he couldn't sleep. Another dream? In the dream, Mira was standing in her garden again. Her hands were in the soil. Her face was calm.
Ow.
She looked up, smiled, and said, "You're not alone." Then the dream ended, just like that. Now Cale sat on the edge of his bunk, holding the old picture of her. He touched the edge where it had torn a little. So much had changed. But this small photo, this one memory, stayed with him. He sighed. "Mira, are you still out there?" he whispered. The station around him was still quiet. The other workers hadn't started moving yet. The cameras were asleep for a few more minutes. This was the only time it felt like the world wasn't watching. Later that day, Cale returned to the storage room during his break. He opened the secret panel, turned on the receiver, and checked the signal log. His heart jumped. New message detected. He opened it fast, hoping. Just hoping. "Cale, I heard your voice. I remember the boy who stayed behind after lessons to ask questions about stars. The boy who used to say, 'One day I'll fix things that matter. You already are, Mira.'" Cale froze. It was her real name, her real words. He covered his mouth, eyes wide with shock. His chest felt tight. "After all this time, after all this silence," she had replied. Truly replied. She remembered him, and she believed in him. Tears fell down Cale's face, but he didn't feel weak, felt strong. Like something heavy had finally lifted from his shoulders. He had felt so distant from her for so long. Like she had moved away into a different world, a world he couldn't. Reached up, but now this message pulled her closer again, not in person. Not by touch, but heart to heart, he replied quickly, typing with shaking fingers. "Mira, thank you. Your words brought me back. You're whispering across the stars. Humans everywhere are remembering. I wish I could see you again. But even if I can't, I'll keep going. You taught me that." That evening, Cale told the other members of the Whisper about the message. She replied. He said softly, "Mira's alive." Everyone smiled. Even Tam, who hardly ever spoke, gave a small nod. "We're not just surviving anymore," Sella whispered. "We're becoming something more." They decided to build something new, a digital tree of human messages. A simple network where people could send thoughts, songs, poems, even pictures to others. It would travel from station to station through the secret signal lines Cale had helped create. They called it the HeartNet. It wasn't big at first. Only a few people used it. But the idea was strong, pure. It made humans feel close even when they were galaxies apart. One child sent a drawing of a bird flying in the sky. Another sent the sound of wind blowing through trees on Earth from an old memory chip. And soon, others added messages to those they missed. To my sister Nara, I still remember your stories. To Papa, I'll make you proud. 4. Everyone who feels forgotten, you are not. But even with all this joy, Cale still felt a small sadness. The message from Mira was beautiful, but short. He didn't know where she was now. He didn't know if she could write again. He walked through the machine deck that night, his eyes full of stars he couldn't see. The metal walls were cold, the lights flickered. He passed a young worker crying quietly in the corner. The boy was new, maybe 15. It's probably taken from a family not long ago. Cale sat beside him. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Len," the boy whispered. "They took my mom. I don't know where she is." Cale reached into his coat and pulled out a chip. He plugged it into the wall panel and played one of the HeartNet recordings. Elmira's soft voice reading a poem about courage. Then the music started slow, piano, soft and warm. Len looked up, surprised. "She sounds like my mom," he said. Cale smiled. "She's someone's mom. She's someone's teacher. And she never stopped believing." Len wiped his eyes. "Can I listen again?" As many times as you want, Kale said. As Kale walked away, he looked back at the boy and thought, this is what matters now. Not just messages, not just memory, but light shared. From one person to another, from Earth to the stars. Back in his bunk, Kale held the photo again. He still missed Mira. But now, he didn't feel so far from her because hope, like memory, was stronger than any distance. And every time he helped someone feel human again, it was like she was right there beside him. Kale stared at the control board in the mining station. The lights blinked softly. The machines hummed. It was another long day, filled with numbers, repairs, and silence. But in Kale's heart, something was changing. The HeartNet was growing. Every week, more messages came in. Songs, memories, names. People were sharing what it meant to be human, not with anger, but with beauty. They didn't need weapons. They had stories. And still, Kale waited for another message from Myra. It had been almost 10 days since she sent her last words. He checked the signal logs every night. Nothing new. He missed her voice. He missed how her words made the world feel smaller, kinder, close. That night, Kale sat near the window. He looked at the stars outside and held the old photo in his hands again. Mira, he whispered, how do I keep going when I still feel so far from you? He remembered her garden, her hands planting seeds, her soft laughter, the way she used to say, even in the coldest soil, life waits. Maybe that's what this was, a kind of waiting, a quiet winter before spring. Still, it hurt. Later that week, something new happened. The HeartNet received a message from a Concord worker, not human, an alien. Her name was Nira. She worked as a technician on station T-9. She wrote, I heard the voices, the stories, the songs. I thought humans were broken. But now, I hear something different. You remember, you feel, you hope. And I wonder, have we forgotten how to do that? The message shocked everyone. It meant the HeartNet was reaching. Not just humans, but others too. Kale shared the message with the whisper. Tam shook his head in disbelief. They're listening now? Sella smiled. It begins. The next day, more messages came. A child from Station C4 shared a bedtime story her father used to tell. A teenager sang a lullaby passed down from Earth. Someone even wrote a short letter. Dear future, we haven't given up. Even the aliens on Kale's station started acting differently. They were quieter, less harsh. One of them even left extra food portions in the workers' quarters. Just in action, something was changing. Not fast, but real that evening. Kale visited Len, the young worker who had cried weeks ago. Len was smiling now, sitting with a group of other kids, showing them how to build a small speaker from scrap parts. It plays Earth songs, he told them proudly. And you can add your own voice, too. Kale watched from a distance, heart warm. He still felt the space where Mira's voice should be. But now, her spirit lived on in every child who sang, every worker who remembered, every whisper sent across the stars. When Kale returned to the control room, he checked the HeartNet once more. A new message blinked on the screen. His heart skipped. Kale, my signal may not last, but I'm still here, still listening. I've shared your messages with students on Station D6. They draw pictures of trees now. They ask about blue skies. We planted a flower in a recycled tin can. It bloomed yesterday. We called it hope. I'm proud of you, Mira. Kale didn't move. He just stared at the message, reading it over and over. She was still alive, still guiding others, still planting hope heaven in metal corridors. Under artificial lights, his hands trembled as he typed back. Mira, I never forgot. Your lessons, you're still teaching me. I want to see you again someday. Until then, I'll keep the fire alive. He saved the message, then copied it across the HeartNet. And suddenly, it wasn't just a message. It was a movement. People replied with their own stories of blooming, painted a wall with the colors of Earth. We named our baby girl Mira. We wrote your message on the hallway for everyone to see. Across space, humans once quiet, once broken, were now speaking clearly, not in anger, but in courage, in kindness, in connection. Kale sat back and closed his eyes. The sadness was still there, the distance too, but now it didn't feel like they. And it felt like a path. And at the end of that path, maybe one day he would see Mira again. Maybe on Earth. Maybe in some green place where stars didn't rule people anymore. Until then, he had his purpose. To light the way, to help others remember who they were, to keep blooming, even in cold soil. Kale stood at the edge of the station's observation deck, looking out at the stars. They looked peaceful, tiny, quiet lights spread across the dark. But inside Kale's heart, so many thoughts moved like waves. He had helped build something beautiful. The HeartNet had grown. It now reached more than just a few humans. It touched thousands. But still, he missed her Myra. She was out there somewhere in the galaxy, helping children remember Earth, planting hope in small corners of metal stations, sending soft words into the dark. And Kale, he was still here, still listening, still dreaming. But the distance, it still hurt. He wanted to see her again. He wanted to sit in her garden, even if just in a dream. He wanted to tell her in person how much she had changed him. But there was no ship, no plan, no safe way to travel from Station 47B to Station 500-6, where Mira was last seen. He felt stuck. Far. Later that night, Whisper gathered in the back storeroom. Sella brought new messages from the HeartNet. One said, "My son drew Earth's sky today. He's never seen it, but he said it feels like home." Another said, "We made paper birds and hung them across the dorm. Made the station feel like spring." Tam handed Kale a third message. He read it slowly. "To the one called Kale, I don't know your face, but your story reached my heart. My family once helped enslave your people. But now, because of you, we remember Earth with respect. We've begun teaching human history to our youth. Give us. Keep going." Kale didn't know what to say. The words were heavy, but full of light. He looked at the others. "We're not invisible anymore," he said. "We never were," Sella replied. They just stopped looking. The next day, something unexpected happened. A Concorde transport ship arrived at the station. The humans were told to stand in rows. The alien guards looked nervous. Whisper said a new law had passed. Humans would now be tracked by implants. Control was returning. Hope felt like it was shrinking. Kale felt the weight press into his chest. After everything they had built, was it all ending? Later in his bunk, he stared at the ceiling. "We shared songs, poems, kindness," he whispered. "Is that not enough?" He remembered Myra's last message. I'm proud of you." Her voice echoed in his heart. And then, something inside him changed. He stood up that night. Kale turned on his receiver and did something he had never done. Before he opened a live channel, not just a message, a voice. His voice, it was risky, dangerous, but he didn't care. He spoke softly, but clearly. "To every human out there," says Kale, "they're trying to silence us again. But I want you to remember, we are not small. We are not weak. We are not slaves. We are Earth, and Earth means love. It means memory. It means we carry each other even. Across galaxies, if you're listening, send this message forward. Let the stars know we're still here." He ended the message and sent it everywhere. Through every signal path, through every HeartNet channel. Then he waited the next morning. The alien guards looked confused. The station systems were slowing down. Power grids were flickering. Supply reports were missing. And everywhere in the kitchens, the rest halls, the repair bays, humans had written one line on walls, floors, and screens. "We're still here." The HeartNet didn't break. It grew. Even non-humans started sharing it. Some offered safety. Some sent food. Some just said, "We're sorry." Change had begun, not with war, but with whispers. A week later, Kale received another message from Myra. "Kale, they're talking about you here, not in fear, in wonder. The children call you the voice between stars. They sing your message each morning. I want to see you again. But until that day comes, know that I hear you and I'm never far. Smiled. He looked at her old picture and up at the sky. She was still far, but somehow not really. She was in every message, every drawing, every word of hope, and maybe one day they'd walk on real Earth again together. But even if they didn't, he had found something just as powerful. A way to reach hearts across the void. A way to make a broken galaxy feel like home. A human way. Because this was the truth. Even when someone moves far away. Even when you feel small. Even when you don't know how to reconnect. Hope still shines. And humans still rise. One whisper at a time.